Hi, everyone. It's Allison Lewis with Switch Embassy and ambassador to Ozone Inc., and we are going live in 1 minute.
Eric, you got to tell them that we're going live in 1 minute and who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was taking the cues. So this is Eric Mumford with the Worldwide Supply Chain Federation, and we're going live in 1 minute.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network, and we are going live in 1 minute. We are not yet live, just initiating the stream. So, Allison?
Hi, everyone. It's Allison Lewis with the Switch Embassy and Ozone Inc. We're going to talk about supply chain in this very difficult time of COVID and how the fashion network can help. We go live in 1 minute.
And this is Eric Mumford, a partner with the Worldwide Supply Chain Federation, affiliated with Refashion Ventures in New York City, and we're going live in 1 minute.
Wow, we're not going live yet. It hasn't initiated, and I'm wondering if I should switch back to Wi-Fi. I have a cable connection right now, but we have not yet made a connection. So we are still waiting to go live in 1 minute. It might be 2 minutes. Sometimes I cut it off a little bit too early, and then it just did it. So it's like 1 or 2 minutes actually, technically. But I think we're going to wait 1 more minute, and then if that doesn't work, we are going to connect on the Wi-Fi. So my name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network, and we are going live supposedly in 1 minute.
Hi, everybody. Allison Lewis with Switch Embassy and Ozone Inc. We are going live in 1 minute to talk about supply chain.
Hi, everyone. This is Eric Mumford with the Worldwide Supply Chain Federation, affiliated with Refashion Ventures in New York City, and we're going live here in just 1 minute.
Excellent. All right. Made a few little tweaks on the back end, and we are picking up 360 Fashion page live, Anina Net page live. We are live on Periscope now. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Runway the Real Way. And we are live on Ozone. We are live on Allison Lewis. We are live on Anina Net. We are live on Switch Embassy. We are live on LuxLock. And now we are live on 360 Fashion YouTube and the International Designers Network. Hi, everyone. My name is Anina, and I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network. And today we are having a very special stream, an important notice. And so I would love to have my two compadres here introduce themselves and then quickly switch over to Eric and give him the floor.
Hi, it's Allison Lewis with Switch Embassy and Ozone. We are going to be talking about a very important matter to how the fashion industry can help right now with what's going on with COVID, with supply chains. And I'm going to be quiet and let Eric Mumford take it over from here, and hopefully we all learn and what we can do to help.
Hi, thank you. This is Eric Mumford. I'm with the Worldwide Supply Chain Federation. We are affiliated with Refashion Ventures here in New York City. We are a collective of 3,000 plus supply chain enthusiasts worldwide, over 500 volunteers on both sides of builders and buyers across the primarily apparel supply chain. And over the last 2 weeks, we have organized together with a number of other grassroots movements here in the US to solve for the PPE shortages that we've heard all about. So groups like Masks for Docs, helphospitals.io, Designed to Combat COVID, and there's many others. And each of these organizations are primarily focused on doing no harm. There's another one as well, Project N95, that's doing great work. You know, everyone wants to solve for this and match donations to demand. And that was stood up really primarily because of the disruption to the supply chains that we've seen over the last few weeks. Now that that's being opened up a little bit better again, as Anina, we've talked about, we're getting more and more suppliers that are coming to us and saying, "Hey, we have good quality supply," and so we have an entire team from the JOR network. Christine, the CEO of the JOR network, has been wonderful to dedicate an entire phone bank to being able to vet these suppliers and match them with hospital demand. And lastly, we also have makers throughout the U.S. That we are working with partners like Enable Amendment to mobilize individual makers, whether they're sewing at home to make approved PPE alternatives that are approved at the hospital levels. These new designs are being fast-tracked through the FDA as well. And then there's dozens of factories, including from brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Citizens of Humanity, Vera Bradley. These are all brands that are willing to repurpose infrastructure, provide resources, and help put our workers back to work making PPEs while they're not making clothing here in the U.S. All of this was stood up pretty quickly over the last 10 days. It'll be fully operationalized by the end of this week. So it's kind of a waterfall of donations, vetted, helping hospitals get through their bureaucracy and red tape to match vetted supply with hospital demand, and then U.S.-based manufacturing for PPE alternatives, and even the current standard FDA-approved PPEs, as well as some of those design specs become available for local manufacturers here in the U.S.
My first question is, for those of you who don't know, what is PPE?
So this is personal protective equipment, right, in the hospital industry. And these are so I have nurses and doctor friends who were telling us that when the spike has started to happen in our hospitals, and we're starting to now see that growth in cases, especially with more and more testing that's happening here. It's really taxing our hospital system, just like we've seen in Europe. And New York is really is kind of the epicenter right now. And we predict that other areas in the country, they will kind of have a rolling sort of 2 weeks behind us as they start to feel the same crunch. And so in the hospitals, a lot of these nurses and doctors, they're running out of supply, and so they're having to resort to things like handkerchiefs and basic alternatives that are just not protecting them. And so we felt it was really important to try to organize like a team of teams approach of all of the different grassroots movements here in the U.S. and sort of get that coalesced into a single platform so that we could make it easy and efficient and not sort of impact pricing in any way. And then also stand up alternatives from makers here in the U.S. that hundreds of hospitals have already approved, beginning with Beth Israel and Boston. And that was initiated through the Enabled efforts. So they have now approved tech packs for masks, for gowns, and it's really exciting to see. There's also a network of 10,000 plus 3D printers for hard goods that have been deployed through Masks for Docs, who is also one of the grassroots organizations working with us. And so these are face shields, those types of things that are being printed and deployed here in the U.S. And there's a network of logistics, 150,000 trucks accessible for us through partners like Fleet Ops. There's others, Transfix, Convoy Fleeting. These are all partners that have stood up from the Federation and said, hey, we can help and make sure that they get to the right locations. So it's really amazing, because just 10 days ago, literally there were people on motorcycles going and delivering small batches that they would find to hospitals and just making sure that they could get it to them. And now it's really being properly formalized.
So I want to know, how can people get involved? How can, as I mentioned, I got thrown into the Slack group because I'm here in China, and we have direct access with no middlemen to factories that have the KN95 masks, that have the temperature guns, that have even more for Europe, the test kits. And I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do, but I can fulfill orders if there are orders on a plane. That's what I can do, and we have my engineer is in Shenzhen. He can actually physically go to the factory, oversee the production, and do the QC. And then I have my friend from DHL, vice president of DHL. He has figured out how do we get the goods through. So I just don't really know what I'm supposed to do in that Slack group. And I'm sure other people are wondering right now, going, hey, I've got this, I've got that. What can I do?
Yeah, so great question. And that's part of the challenge, is that everybody wants to help. And so trying to get that coalesced into a single platform. So Airtable has been really a blessing. They've donated an unlimited platform to us and resources to help us stand it up. We're in the process of really operationalizing that. It should be completed by the end of this week. And so that is really where, once that happens, it'll be really easy to scale this in terms of order size and working with your resources, Anina, and then being able to, just let that process happen. And that will be operationalized through the JOR platform. So the JOR platform will handle the actual purchase order process between hospitals and the vetted supply that has been coalesced through our platform. And that team will have all of that stood up by the middle of this week as well. And so, if it's wonderful that these next few days, obviously people are getting supply where it needs to go, and that's happening through all these grassroots. But give us a few more days and it will be fully operationalized, and that's when we can handle those larger orders, Anina.
How about if you're a fashion designer? Allison, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, what can, so who do you want to come on? Like what type of, what pieces in the supply chain are you looking for? Like, if you could speak out right now, we have a lot of designers that watch our pieces, and I also have a lot of Silicon Valley tech guys watch what we're doing. So
we got tons of makers.
I come from the maker community, so it's kind of like, we can get this out to where you need to go. Who do you want? What do you need?
Well, right now the challenge is that we have quite a bit of everything that is needed, and it's trying to just kind of herd the cats, so to speak. I think right now also is, there is, cash flow challenges around this. So it's particularly on the maker side, with enabled, for example, and cost of textiles, the cost of just getting these factory workers back producing in a factory. So a lot of the local factories, for example, here in New York, they had to lay off their staff, of course. Many of them were sent home with sewing machines to produce what they could as they could. And so many of these folks are actually contributing as an individual maker through the enabled platform. So if you're an individual maker and you want to participate in making these actual PPE alternatives that hospitals are using, while we continue to scale up the standard KN95 type mask demand, for example, that's wonderful. You can do that through Enabled, and you can find how to do that on enabled.com, and that's NABLD, pronounced Enabled.
Wait, NABLD.com?
Yes.
I'll put it up on the screen.
So it's NABLD.com, and then it's /make a mask with each of the words separated with a hyphen. So make -a -face -mask.
Okay, I got it up on the screen now. Any other URLs I should pimp out there?
So the ones that I sent to you, Allison, on the chat from the previous talk, if you still have those available.
That does maybe a bit long to put up on the live stream, but
they are. I'm going to show
but
them.
we can definitely add them to the post. So when people go to this this URL, enabled, and then make a mask, what can they expect when they get there?
Well, they will be provided a free access to the enabled platform. So they will have access to the actual tech pack and the specifications of what they are enabling makers to produce through that platform. And then enabled is also plugged into the Airtable and coalescing that's happening with us, so that we can make sure that we can help. So currently they've been standing that up all themselves and getting those to the locations that they need to go. And I think that they've actually fulfilled about 500,000 masks so far coming into this coming week. So you can go there if you're an individual maker. If you're a supplier, we have the onboarding form, Allison, that I had sent to you, that link in our previous conversation. It's the Airtable form. And that's where we're bringing in all of the suppliers.
What I'll do is I'll put it on.
I'm trying to bring that up, guys. Just bear with me. I was going to show the.
You know what I'll do is I'll add it to our chat bot, m.me.360fashion.net. So just go there, and after this live stream, I will add it to our chat bot, and you can just say, hi, and then it'll give you the links. So I guess that's a really easy way for you to get the links if you don't have them. And I can program that up into the chat bot pretty easily. If you need a chat bot, I can make you a chat bot. That could answer a lot of questions. Maybe a chat bot would be a good thing, if you...
Maybe.
Eric.
Okay.
Chatbot can chat with people and tell them all this stuff, and you don't have to do that.
Y'all are going to see me do this. So we have tnyscm.com. That's tnyscm.com.
That's right.
That's your main page for COVID emergency supply chain call to action. You can submit your resources. There's a button there. You can click it. And you have an onboarding form for someone to call you and ask you a bunch of questions about, basically verifying your capabilities and what you're able to offer. And then, of course, there's enabled, which I'm actually familiar with in a totally different way because they're freaking amazing. And when you go there, give or request face mask to help COVID-19. There's a button across the top that says learn more right across the top. So it looks like both of the pages are up well enough that you guys, whoever's watching, can watch, click a link and get to where you need to go. Just so you know that that's happening.
Yeah, I put them up on the screen. And
I have lights on.
I'll program up our chat bot with some of the answers that we had previously on the live stream with Eric, so that if they have questions with the FAQ, I can make a short FAQ there. What else can we do, Eric? What else can we do?
Well, we are.
Can we donate?
We are working right now. Money. I'm sorry.
I interrupted. I'm so sorry. That's very poor. But I was thinking, you saying that there's some financial challenges. So where do people donate money? Is there a place to take that in, or is that a few days from now?
That's a few days from now.
Okay.
So there is donations that are happening, and there's a whole donation side of things. Most of that is handled through Masks for Docs and helphospitals.io. Those are all, nonprofit organizations trying to handle all of the donations. Here on the Supply Chain Federation side, what we are trying to do is facilitate the actual PO side and the maker side. So where that is actually being able to, hospitals to purchase through this vehicle to make the purchases. And so that will be approved here in New York this week. New Jersey and Connecticut should be on the heels of that. And then we have folks that are helping us get across the country with approvals in every state, hopefully. So if there's anybody that can help there, right, get those
I have people here in Texas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like the economic development councils of these different states to set us up as an approved supplier, so that they can tap into this new supply chain orchestration. That's really the major need right now, so that money can actually move, if that makes sense.
It does, and I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Economic Development Council in every single state. We should be making sure that you guys get approved. I know that my friend just got approved right now. I don't remember the name of what he's doing, but his name's Cameron St. Clair, and he's developing deployable. Oh, goodness. I didn't know I was going to be on the spot for this one this morning, but deployable healthcare facilities, things that are very safe, because people are trying to take old facilities basically and make them into healthcare, and that doesn't really work. They're not clean, they're not sanitized. It's not. So he's like super famous for going in like behind Katrina and like working with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and helping people after disasters. So he's got 300,000, I think. Don't kill me, Cameron, if that's the wrong number. Deployable hospital units, and they're like pop-up units that you can put on the back of a truck, drop them off, pop up a bunch of little hospital units everywhere. And help people out in the smaller areas and not just in the big cities. So there's definitely people mobilizing, and we can definitely find a way to connect you, because you guys probably know each other. But knowing that, you need to get through the Economic Development Council, I think is important. And I know that there's a lot of active people out there that could be listening, that if you can't do anything else, but you're good at, elbowing your politicians, feel free to do that, to help these guys out, because it is coming to our smaller areas. Just because it's in New York right now does not mean it's not happening. We have cases already in my teeny tiny county that I live in. Tiny, only a few 100,000 people. We have cases right now. So where there's 2, there's 100, right? So I think that this is a really important operation, and I'm just so happy to help you. And if I get super excited, it's just because I'm like, oh, I want to do something. So let's get this out there, Anina, and like we will do everything we can to support what you're doing, even if all we can do is make a good connection. Maybe that's a small way to help to get things done.
Yeah, I also want to echo that. I think there's lots of people that feel really helpless right now, and so even me, I've been in lockdown. Not official lockdown was January, but I moved everything into our flat, moved the whole lab into my flat, and worked from here since December. So that's why Allison and I put together the Digital Fashion online conference, also to help fashion brands and fashion industry to know what to do coming out and have some tech tools to do that. And just happy to have given you the floor this morning in our small way to get the word out to you. And I'll program up the chat bot, and I just keep sending out like 100 masks to people that chat me up on Facebook. Just would love to help with my resources from where I am, and also Detroit Garment Group. They they have a huge factory in Detroit called Detroit Sew, and they are making masks now, Eric. And
wonderful.
That's headed up by Karen Buscemi. I can introduce you to Karen Buscemi. And she founded that whole thing. They have a huge factory, and she just posted some photos that they have sewers there that are making. So even like, I'm not sure how they're organizing it. I just know like what factories are doing here to be able to be operational. Like we're at 50% now for the factories in China, because they have to meet like certain standards. They have to have X amount of vats of rubbing alcohol, and they have to clean down the area every 2 hours, and they have to be able to supply fresh masks to workers every day. Otherwise, they can't open. So we do have large scale, factories open now. So I'm not sure what they're doing on that side, but I saw this morning that Detroit Sewn, they have a huge factory floor, are sewing masks, and they have empty sewing tables. So if somebody was a sewer and was in that area and wanted to help, I'm sure they could connect up and go there. And so I'll make you that connection too. I just think a lot of people would like to help, but really appreciate that you guys are doing this. So I would just like you to one more time, because as the live stream goes, people join and they don't know what we're talking about. I would love to just say, my name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network. We're doing this live stream with Eric, who has come together with Casey Golden and Sandra Lopez. No, what was her name? I forgot.
And Lisa Morales.
Yeah, Lisa Morales. Excuse me. And Eric and a whole bunch of other people to organize the supply chain and get every manufacturing resource in America organized. And I'll just give you the floor again. So if you could run the new people who have joined just now through what's your call out, what you're doing, what you need.
Sure, thank you. So again, this is Eric Mumford. I am with the Worldwide Supply Chain Federation. We are affiliated with Refashion Ventures here in New York City. Our whole mission is just connecting thousands of supply chain enthusiasts around the world together to further their mission of refashioning supply chains for the betterment of our planet. And we've sort of repurposed that effort to focus on helping coalesce all of the grassroots organizations that have stood up over the last few weeks to solve for the PPE shortages here in the US. It's really amazing to see all of these entrepreneurs come together to do this. And that's a lot of that has been primarily through donations and vetting existing supply that's been here in the US and connecting it with demand and just making things happen. The next phase of that has been setting up all the infrastructure so that each of these organizations could sort of coalesce together in one place and make sure that everything is streamlined and efficient for these hospitals and their procurement groups to issue POs and purchase vetted supply. Partners like Mask for Docs, HelpHospitals.io, and others are handling a lot of the grassroots side of things and the donation side of things, and making sure there's a whole do no harm aspect to that. The Worldwide Supply Chain Federation is partnering with groups like the JOR Network, for example, to leverage a phone bank of experienced supply chain procurement professionals to help us vet all of this inbound supply. They are also standing up a sort of microsite platform, if you will, for the hospitals to be able to easily cut purchase orders for vetted supply, and that could be anything from 50 units of a PPE to multi-millions now, once that is fully set up and operationalized this week. And then the third leg of the stool is local makers and made in USA manufacturing for the PPEs. So platforms like Enabled, also known as 19th Amendment, NABLD, they were able to get alternative tech specifications, or tech packs as we call them here in the industry, for masks, for gowns that will be accepted and used at hospitals. And these are textiles that can be reused, right? So laundered and sterilized and reused again and not just disposed of. And this is wonderful because it's putting lots of makers around the country back to work and to make some money as individual cut and sew artists, for example. That's expanding to dozens and dozens of factories. So I think there's already about 30 factories that are on the platform and on the network that are operationalizing this as well and repurposing to make PPEs. There are lots of brands that are helping as well, brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Citizens of Humanity, Vera Bradley. They are donating people and resources and even infrastructure to repurpose to this effort. And so all of this is being coalesced into one single team of teams, if you will, organization to make sure it's nice and smooth of an entire end-to-end supply chain. And that includes logistics. So we've got lots of wonderful logistics partners like Fleet Ops and Transfix and others that are helping us mobilize thousands and thousands of trucks to match with supply and make sure that that can get to the location, to the demand location as efficiently as possible. So what we need right now, obviously we can always use more donations on the donation side, and that's primarily going to be handled through Masks for Docs and helphospitals.io. Their actual intake forms and process will be standardized with us pretty soon this week. Obviously, if you're a venture or private wealth investor and you want to help just fund this entire opportunity, that's always welcome so that we can make sure that nothing breaks down. For example, on the enabled side, they have partners like fabrics.com who have been amazing and donating textiles to this effort. But that can't last forever. And a lot of these startups that are really mobilizing to help save lives are dipping into their own reserves and out of their own pocket to make this work. So really helping to fund all the various nodes across this network is super helpful right now. And then the actual government level approvals for us as a complete entity to be able to offer this orchestrated supply chain as a service and receive POs from hospitals. So we are in the final throes of getting that set up with the New York State EDC. Excuse me. On the heels of that is Connecticut and New Jersey. There are other groups that are helping us rapidly get into other states as well. But if you're someone who can help fast track EDC type approvals at each of your states, then that's the faster that we can actually take POs from hospitals, mobilize that through the JOR platform for large scale purchases with vetted supply.
Awesome. Just really happy to give the floor with make good use of my streaming software. Yay! For stuff like this. It's great, and definitely we will be forwarding these, and I can also schedule that this same release goes out a couple times per day per hour. And so yeah, just really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much for organizing it all, and really glad to have given you the floor. My name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network, and I'm here with Allison Lewis, who is from Switch Embassy and representing Ozone, and I'm here with Eric from the Supply Chain Federation, giving a call out to all the makers, people who are philanthropists, patriots, who want to step in and help our healthcare professionals get the supplies that they need to keep our people safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you.